live now, though, right? It's live now. Ain't got notified yet.
All right.
All right. Camera's on and the mic. Oh, Shalom, Israel. Just trying to figure out this technical. Mic good? You got to come over. Just trying to make some adjustments, Israel. That's cool. Anyway, we're gonna get started. Shalom once again. Uh, so it's a lot of things going on. It was beautiful how DSTM was on today. I wish I could have watched all of it. I was in and out, and I wanted to write some notes down on certain things that the brother was bringing out. We've been over Matthew's chapter 24, a couple of times, but it's so prophetic, and there's so many prophecies that lies in it that just get ready for us to revisit it all the time, because it's so many episodes of what's going to take place and what has already taken place that it benefits us to revisit it, right, and then bring out more precepts on the events that's actually happening to us right now today. So I kind of picked out certain prophecies in this Matthew's chapter 24, just to highlight some of the things that has already happened and some of the things that already been fulfilled already. And I also want to go into my brother Rahim's book a little bit and just read a couple of pages out of here. Y'all can see it right there, a mind well instructed. So, just to kind of bring out, because there's a few chapters in here that he points out that has already happened and that we can actually benefit off recognizing these prophecies as they happen already. Okay. So we're going to start off with, let's go to Matthew's chapter 24. We're going to start off with
Book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Right. So that's one of the things I'm going to point out as well, is that the temple, because at this time, the disciples and all of Israel was proud of the temple that Solomon had built. So that's one of the prophecies that Christ is going to get into as well, is dealing with the temple. So they was proud of this temple. It represented our nation. Solomon did, they said one of the beautifulest temples that ever been built. So they wanted to tell Christ, hey, check out this beautiful temple that was made, right? Because by then they've already convinced that this is the Christ. Okay, read on.
Verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things?
Mm-hmm.
Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall be not thrown down.
See, now he threw a twist on it. He said there shall not be one stone, meaning that this temple that they was proud of was going to be destroyed. Okay, so let's go back and let's find out how the temple was actually made. Let's get First Kings chapter 9. So we're going to go back in history, and we're going to see this temple being made by Solomon, because this is one of the prophecies that, as we continue to read on in Matthew chapter 24, a little further down, they asking the question. It was like, when is the end of the world? When is your second coming going to be? All right. So let's just deal with the temple right now. First Kings chapter 9, and we're going to start at 1.
The book of First Kings, chapter 9, and verse 1. And it came to pass, when Solomon had finished the building of the house of the Lord,
Mhm.
and the king's house, and all Solomon's desires which he was pleased to do,
Right. So it says the king's house. Okay. So we know we're talking about the temple. Read on.
that the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him in Gibeon.
Mhm.
And the Lord said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house which thou hast built to put my name there forever.
So now here we are. Mosiah said he's going to put his name on this temple. So now we understand that how glorious this temple was and how proud they was about the temple because the Most High put his name upon it. Okay, you know.
And mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments.
Right there. He said, and will keep my statutes and my judgments. So now, in that one verse, he kept telling him, walk upright, follow his commandments, his statutes, and his judgments. So along with the Most High blessing, our nation to build this temple that he put his name on it, these are instructions that he required for us to continue in our lives, then and now. Okay, read on.
Then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever,
Mhm.
as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel.
Okay.
But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments.
Now this is one final key. It says, but if we didn't do, right, now he's going to explain what's the consequences going to be. And that's how now we're looking at this prophecy right now. At our nation of people going from one captivity to another captivity for so many years. And I used to say, forgive me for saying this, but I'm going to continue to say it because it's a beautiful thing to say that this is our last captivity. So let that sink in your mind a little bit. And also let it sink in your mind that by it being our last captivity and by us being under this certain man captivity, he's going to throw everything, the house, the kitchen sink, the land, whatever he can get his hands on, and whatever this man is capable and of being allowed to do, he's going to do it. Period. And we see that right now today. Go ahead.
Verse 6. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes which I have set before you, but go to serve other gods.
And haven't we did? We've served other gods throughout our captivities. And like I said, we got our act together in one captivity. The Most High came and he promised us that he would deliver us, but we had to keep the commandments. So we didn't keep the commandments, then bam, we went into another captivity. Go ahead.
But go and serve other gods and worship them. Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name.
That's right.
Will I cast off my sight. And Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people.
Right. So now Israel has become a byword and a proverb. We've been called every name under the sun. We've been in many captivities under the sun. But the thing is that we can always rely upon this Bible and the prophecies going back to find our way back to our Lord and Savior. And that's what we're doing here in quote unquote 2025. The Most High have truly blessed us. Israel is coming out the woodwork everywhere. They may be coming out with different doctrines. We may have our scuffles between certain camps and just dealing with Israel in general, as we can't come together, but we can rely upon the promises and the prophecies that this Bible has given us and the laws. Okay, read on.
Verse 8. And at this house which is high, everyone that passeth by it shall be astonished.
See, now they were astonished by this house. So that's when the Romans came in, they figured they knew that they was about to get rich when he came down to 70 AD, which I'm going to kind of hit on a little bit. But they knew they were about to come up and get rich. But because, like he said right here, it says that it will be an astonishment to all that walk by. Go ahead.
Everyone that passeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss And they shall say, why hath the Lord done this unto this land and unto this house?
And unto this house. That's what I want to stop it right now, verse 9. And to this house. Okay? But we understand that, though, because that temple is no longer there. Okay? No longer there. But once again, we're going to go back to Matthew chapter 24. We're going to flip flop and then read 2 again.
Book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 2. And Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
That shall not be thrown down. So we already went, so we can find and see that the prophecy of this has already happened. Right? Christ prophesied that that temple would not be there. Now that temple is not there. Also, he said that he would throw us out the land. Another prophecy that we can look back upon history and say, yes, the Lord came through with his word. Even though it was harsh conditions, but he still fulfilled the words that came out of his mouth. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of the Olives.
Now pay close attention to this, because after they have told Christ that, look at this beautiful temple, and he told them that this temple is going to be torn down. Then they were curious. Now they was like, okay, well, if it's going to be torn down, then what's going on after that? Starting from the top again.
Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of the Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be a sign of thy coming?
Okay.
And of the end of the world.
So it says, when shall these things be? All right. I want to go right back to the temple one more time and find out certain things that they were doing in this temple, right, that Christ prophesied that had to be torn down. Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 7. And we're going to start at verse 13. We're going to come back to Matthew chapter 3 again, but I forgot this one precept I wanted to bring out about this temple. Jeremiah chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 13. Because in this temple, Solomon built it, and then as time went on, Israel started to do all kinds of shenanigans. They started to worship other gods, because it said, if you start to worship other gods, then these things will happen to you. Well, I just want to bring out one prophecy as well, that Israel started to serve other gods in this temple, and the Most High was very displeased with it, because he said he placed his name upon it. All right, read on.
Book of Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 13. And now, because ye have done all these works, saith the Lord, and I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but ye heard not. And I called you, but ye answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein ye trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh.
Right. So he's speaking. He's speaking to Jeremiah again. Jeremiah's prophecy. Now remember, Solomon's house was built. They did what they did during that time. Now we're in Jeremiah's time, and now he's telling Jeremiah, like he said that which is called by my name, wherein thy trust. So even then, they still was trusted in this big, beautiful temple that was made by Solomon to the children of Israel, because it stood for us as our, I would say, I can't think of the word right now, something that represented us, okay, from all other nations, something that stood out, that we can say, oh, if someone see that temple, they'd be like, oh, that's the children of Israel, that's the Jews, you know, that's their temple. Yeah, there you go, a monument. That's right. You know, something in history that lasts so that it pinpoints us on the face of the earth, right? And then it may get other nations question, well, what they believe in, or what's their God. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that during Jeremiah time, the temple was still standing. Read on.
Verse 15. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all of your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim.
So he was talking about getting rid of Israel then. Read on.
Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem?
Mm-hmm.
The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough and make cakes to the Queen of Heaven.
Now it says to the Queen of Heaven, right? So, Q, what is that Queen of? What's the name of that Queen of Heaven that they made? Icor. That's to recall. They used to call the Queen of Heaven. What's her name? Dies. Not What's the Queen of Heaven they used to that they was serving to? Semiramis. There you go. Semiramis. There you go. And there was another one too that they had put out there, but
Semiramis, Astaroth, Diana.
I think it was more. Yeah, I think it was more Diana. Yeah. So anyway, they was making these cakes unto these other gods. But we read earlier when he told Solomon that he gave Solomon the will to build the temple. He said, "Don't follow other gods." So here in Jeremiah time, this is exactly what they're doing. You know. Start 18. Start 18 from the top.
Verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger.
See, they may provoke him to anger. So now, let's go back to Matthew. Just wanted to bring that out because that's one of the reasons why Christ said that this temple had to be torn down. Right? Because they still was sinning. They still was serving other gods throughout history as you go from the history of what they consider the Old Testament all the way to the history here that's in the New Testament, as they would say. All right. So Astaroth? I think it was that Diana. Diana? Okay.
This time Babylon but Astaroth.
Okay. Cool. Go on. Start at verse 3.
Verse 3. Book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 3.
Mhm.
And as he sat upon the Mount of the Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
See, and at the end of the world. Now, there's another one I wanted to bring out 70 AD also. And y'all can write that down. Leviticus chapter 19, verses 42 through 44. That's when the temple was actually, the Romans came in and sacked Jerusalem and burned down the temples. Now, the reason I bring this out because of the prophecy that was said here in Matthew chapter 24, verse 2. But now we get into another prophecy because they wanted to know when was the end of the world going to come and his second coming. But they pulled him to the side and said, we're going to go to you privately. They didn't want everyone to know. So, there was many private conversations that Christ had with the disciples, right? So let's find out what Christ said unto them here in Matthew chapter 24 and read on.
Verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
Right. So now, those prophecies right there, they really haven't came to pass yet. There's a lot of preachers and pastors saying that they are Christ and came, but not on the level that what we are going to see coming. Now, the reason I say that is because there was one movie, I think Hardcore had mentioned it too. It was The Fall. Of The Mist. I think it was The Mist. Anyway, but when chaos is there, right? When bloodshed and bodies are all over the street and killings and things like that, out of the midst of that, you always gonna have somebody to step up and thinking they're gonna prophesy as Christ did, and then say that they are Christ. Not only that, but we're still waiting for this Antichrist to present himself as the ruler of the earth and try to bring in peace. So we're still waiting on that. So false Christs and prophets is going to come through. Go ahead, Art.
Many antichrists.
Right.
We're not holding the thousands say they're waiting for one man to pop up and lead a new world religion. That's not what we're pushing.
That's not what we're pushing, but that's what they're thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. We're not waiting. But when I say we, I'm meaning that we're waiting to see this prophecy of they quote unquote Christianity antichrist to come upon the scene. You know what I'm saying? They are. You see them just like they looking at the rapture, right? They thinking that people are gonna be taken off in the air, things like that. That's what they believe.
Yeah, no. I hear you.
Okay,
I
now,
got it.
hey,
I
all
hear you.
praises for correcting. All praises, man. But that's why I say antichrist because, like, once again, all of these are prophecies, right? This in this one chapter, scripture, all of these are prophecies that's already happened and that's going to come in the future. Okay. I wanted to skip down. I wanted to skip down to it came privately. Read on.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ,
Right.
and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Mm-hmm.
See that ye be not troubled.
Now, right there. So once again, you know what it says, wars and rumors of wars. Now, I would say about what was that about? Maybe 3 years ago. That yeah, I think the Russia and Ukraine war has been going on about 3 years. So, but it was a rumor that they was actually going to go to war, right? And now, as you can see, they're at war. Then you can say the war that Israel has placed against the Palestinians. Okay, so now that was rumor, and now there's an all-out war on that section too. Many has died. So I just want to play this one quick video if I can, just to show you how these rockets and let me share my screen. Go back. Let me go back. Let me know if y'all get any sound from this. Usually I can't get sound. Buffer.
Jittery, but the sounds are coming in. When you share, make sure you click the box that says the sound.
Okay, hold on. You choose which one to share. I got to go all the way back and share now. You see a box?
No, that's it.
All right. I'm gonna try it again. Back a little bit. Keep it. Plan? No.
No sound.
Really? I
Pixelated.
Ethernet. All point. No, because I couldn't get. They wanted the password and all of that. thought I could get over it. Okay.
So they're gonna have signs and saying?
No, because in Google it gives you a different way of how you share your screen or StreamYard. It gives you this box you can share with your sound.
Yeah, I seen it like that on my because it's the Apple.
Okay.
How you share it. You know.
Can you see it though?
You can see it, but it was playing kind of, slow, like the internet connection wasn't playing.
Yeah, no, this because I just wanted to actually just show when it says you're gonna read it again, and it says there should be war, and just to bring out that even though it was prophesied that there is war that's taking place now, but there's physical battle that's being taken place to the point where thousands of people are dying, and Christ prophesied of this. So there's that prophecy is no longer on a standby that we're waiting for. We're actually visually seeing what's going down, and this prophecy is being fulfilled. Not only on one occasion or one or two countries, but you got multiple wars that's going on. That's just one, like I said. So the U.S. has engaged into Iran, right? They have dropped missiles on Iran, and who knows what the backlash is that going to be? Everybody's comfortable right now. Everybody hit the 4th of July, popping firecrackers and all of that. But still in all, Iran is not going to let that slide. Okay? Then you got the war that's dealing with ISIS, that's attacking our people, which is what? Which is going more further, and just the inkling of what Jacob's trouble is actually going to become. So Matthew is going to a whole lot, but we're going to continue to read and how, like we say, wars and rumors of wars, kingdoms against kingdoms. Read on.
Verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right. So he said, but the end is not yet. But they remember he's asking them privately. So that generation passed away, but here we are looking at these wars being aroused right here, right now. Now, has anything hit the U.S. yet? Not really, because it's more internal right now. You got, like I said, ISIS has already started war with the quote-unquote illegal aliens. That's a war. That's a war. When somebody get mad enough and they start popping them, and they all of them come with AKs, they come with 9s, they come the whole gear up. So they're ready to go to war. So once again, a prophecy that's being fulfilled. Okay, read on.
Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right. So now the pestilence, they're here as well. We just had the Cervasis that came through, right? The C9. Not only that, but there's other that's on the rise that they're not telling us about. They trying to actually, tone them down and trying to get control over them, through the swine flu, through the Ebola? Yeah, the Ebola that's over there. Ebola that's over there. All of these things are flaring up. And they just not telling us because they said we don't want to panic anymore. Because they know once the panic start, like we had with the C-19, and they start locking everybody down, people didn't even want to get close to each other, wearing masks. Fights start to break out. Grocery stores start to form lines, and you can only let certain amount of people in. They don't want to see that again. Not yet. It's all designed for them so that they can control us, but not yet. Article had brought out, I wanted to write down 2 topics. I only got one of them down. That was very interesting that he put out. And it was just the start of things. And one of the start of things is the real ID. Because now they're trying to recognize us, who's who now. Trying to weed out certain ones, certain players that they are going to attack once they get you in that database. So they know exactly who they're coming to get. Once again, we have been tricked to share our information on all the social media platforms. So they can also go back on there and find out who's who. So all of these things are set up. But they set up to a point where the freedom is being taken away from us, and it's never coming back. That's how careful we got to be going forward, because a lot of these things that's happening is they're never going to correct it or take these laws that they implement on us. They're never taken back. Once again, more prophecy of how they are going to control us. Okay. Where we at?
Verse 8.
Verse 8. Go ahead.
Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you.
Right. So now, once again, we're looking at what the Alcatraz, what do you call it? Alligator Alcatraz. Okay. So now they're actually delivering us up. Because the brother had pointed out, he said, well, after they finish with our Hispanic brothers, they got a plan for who? For the black folks that's here in America. And I know what it was. I think it was the article you brought up, and it says, for those that was born here. How did that article go out? It said that he was going to start setting up. Well, I'm gonna sum it up.
It said for citizens.
Right.
It basically was saying that the citizens, when he said about the very bad people.
Right, the very bad people.
Yeah,
right.
He said that he's talking about citizens that were born here.
Right.
Been here for a long time. That might need to get up out of here.
That's it. I wanted to grab that article and show that, because that was profound. Those that was born here, right, and been here a long time, or whatever how the article went, but that's directly letting them know that we're coming for you next. Now, in what fashion, we don't know. But right here it says, read that 8 again.
Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you.
Right. So now, once again, and shall kill you. That's happening right now. Once again, a prophecy being fulfilled. Because that's exactly what they're going to do. Is there's a lot of people that's been in ISIS custody that has died. But once again, understand this, the focus is on Israel, period. So once they do these baby steps and to do what ISIS is doing, like you said, then it's going to expand. Now, who are they going to target? They're going to target those who are speaking against America. Those that are claiming, right, that we are the true children of Israel. That's what they're coming after next. What fashion? I don't know. Maybe they'll stop us, stop a lot of brothers from street teaching. We don't know yet. But we do know they're going to come through their social media. They're going to come through all of these outlets, YouTube and things like that, but they're already doing it with AI. So they're going to attack us in a way that the program is already set. And it's unfortunate that we're walking right into it, but we got to continue on because the Most High promised us that he would deliver us. Okay, but there's some of us that are going to be delivered up, and there's some of us that's going to be killed. Go ahead.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Right.
And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another.
Right. So now I said many shall be defended. Our Christian brothers are always defended of the Israelites. Always. They've always studied us and always trying to implement that doctrine of Christianity, of trying to save everybody, when the Bible clearly shows that he's for the children of Israel and the children of Israel only. How many years we've been showing them certain scriptures about that, and they still say it doesn't say that. Then they bring out other scriptures to say that, see, it's saying that whosoever. So there's other doctrines that's out there too. And once we start come back in those doctrines and start eliminating those doctrines and show the truth about it, then that's the next level. Now, how they going, like I said, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how they're going to come about it to deal with us Israelites, because the gospel is being preached, and that's also in this chapter as well, how the gospel is going to be preached. And that's another sign that the Most High is coming. Okay, read on.
And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another.
Mm-hmm.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
Okay.
And because
Now hold on 1 minute too, because that's within our nation of Israel too. When it says false prophets, a lot of camps, they riding the fence on a lot of doctrines that could be combated about. Now we have to be very careful because false prophets are going to come within the children of Israel as we begin to understand who we are and our identity. Okay, read on.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. Iniquity shall wax. Go ahead.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Now, when you say shall be saved, now that's not get Christianity like, right? Meaning that what we're about to witness, what we're about to go through, if you survive, that's the Savior. When you see, a brother or a sister get put to death for this truth, and you still standing, it's going to put a whole nother level on our psyche. Whole nother level. But we know we have to continue on. We have to endure. Go ahead.
But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
And we seeing that right now. We seeing that I'll just take YouTube, for example, right? Because that's one of the popular ones out there. I mean, you got brothers putting up a lot of good content, going back in history, bringing up the historical events that happened to our people, even to the point of the atrocities that is being, I forgot the brother, Ashar has sent me the brother, and he goes back throughout history, and he pulls up, he's a lawyer, and he pulls up all the atrocities that Esau have done during the time of Jim Crow, during the time of slavery. There's books that's being revealed now of how they treated us on these slave plantations. So all of this information right here and all of that historical events, right? When it said that the gospel shall be preached all over the world, that's happening right now. Okay, start from 14 from the top of that.
Verse 14, book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come.
It said, and then shall the end come. Not meaning total destruction, but closer and closer to the prophecy of our deliverance. That's when the end comes. Because they thinking that the world is going to be, destroyed, going to be blown up. No, the Most High said he made the world for Israel. So it's not going to be to the point where the whole world is going to be blown up, but the world as we know it will change. And it's going to change for the worse. Because I was just sitting back, I was thinking from 2020, now I was thinking about from the year 2000 to 2025, that how much has happened and nothing good happened. It's all for the bad. There's nothing has been I would say, improved. They just kept putting more and more regulations on us, more and more stress upon us. They've been putting more and more war upon us. Nothing. The gas prices, if you look at gas prices in the year 2000 and look at the gas prices now, you see everything has changed. Everything is going up. Everything is getting worse and worse and worse. So when we at 14, it said that the gospel will be preached once again. Another feeling.
The holy place.
Right there. So now, let's see what this prophecy, like I said, my brother Rahim had broke it down really well. So I just want to read like about 3 pages of his book, right? 3 pages of his book that would actually give more light to this prophecy right here. You go. Let's get page 321. I think it's somewhere. Just had it marked. Right? Because he's speaking of what Daniel actually prophesied about the abomination of desolation. And people, like, again, thinking that it's going to be a certain man that's going to come along. No, he's already here. He's already been putting in work. Okay? Yeah, we're gonna start here.
Page 321, chapter 11, the son of perdition. Now that it has been established that the Caucasian nation is the nation of Esau, Edom, we can understand how Esau is the son of perdition.
Right. So now the son of perdition, keep that in mind. Because when you say the son of perdition, right? Go ahead.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right. So now it says that man will be revealed. Okay. So now all that the so-called white man has done over the years that he's been in power, he's shown himself as what he said, the son of perdition. Why? Because that particular I would say verse or even perdition is showing that a destruction that he's bringing. And he's bringing it not only to the children of Israel, but to the whole earth. Right now, he's got so many pestilence around. He got the water poison, the ground poison. He got even space is even poison. I was watching some movie where they said so much space jumped up in the air and he's been shooting up there that they can't take it down. They can't get rid of it. So he's revealing himself, and he's doing all of these sinful things against the commandments of the Most High God. What we have to do is pay attention. And that's why the brother did a real good job of bringing this out to show who the son of perdition truly is. Go ahead.
This scripture states a couple of things must first take place before Christ returns to claim his throne.
Right. Now we keep that in mind that we're talking about prophecy of what's going to occur, that they asked the Heavenly Father Christ, right, privately, when he's going to be his second coming, as well as the destruction of the world as we know it. Go ahead.
There come a falling away first. The Israelites will have fallen away from the Most High because of their sins and disbelief. The Most High's mercy will allow Israel to receive redemption from Christ through repentance, seeing that Christ has already died for the nation of Israel to restore them again to the Most High.
Right. Now, that's us right now. That's us right now. My mother and my father didn't know nothing about no Israelites. But he allowed us to come back to him, a certain generation to come back to him to recognize who we are. Go ahead.
To restore them again to the Most High makes this prophecy fulfilled.
Right. So now we've fallen away, right, of not knowing who we are. Now we understand who we are. We understand our people. Now we understand our land. We understand the captivities that we've been in. So all of these things were already placed upon us so that we can get right and start serving the Lord the right way as Israelites. Okay, go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 5, and verse 29 through 30. The book of Hosea, chapter 6 and 2. And the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, and verse 17. Second, and that a man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right, so that's number one. It was us coming back to our identity. And we see how that's happening and the progress that has been done through the grace of the Most High. Then he said number two is that man being revealed who he is. Go ahead.
The man of sin, or rather the son of perdition, must be revealed. This is important to understand because the son of perdition will do all that is in his power to cause the inhabitants of the earth to depart from the Most High and remain in sin.
And remain in sin. Now, haven't he done that? I'll just take one simple thing we say all the time is pork the other white meat. Then he attacks our diet, because once he attacks our diet, then he knows that the body will start doing things that the Most High did not want it to do. Okay? Now, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of this is a reflection of our diet. So that's why he said, I want you to read that again, because that's why he said he would do all that he can to keep us in sin. And now that we understand the commandments, a lot of us have to do what? We have to start dropping the bad habits that we had that's outside of the commandments in order to be closer to the Most High. Start it again.
Secondly, a man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The man of sin, or rather the son of perdition, must be revealed This is important to understand because the son of perdition will do all that is in his power to cause the inhabitants of the earth to depart from the Most High and remain in sin.
And remain in sin. Now, let's go right back and read Matthew chapter 15, 24 and 15 again. And then we're going to go back to the book.
Book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by David the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand it.
Okay, whoso read it, let him understand. Okay, continue on. Back in the book.
The son of perdition, Revelation 17 and 8, stated the red beast will go into perdition.
So the red beast, right? So we know that Esau, Genesis chapter 25 and 25, the red inheritance of Esau. So it's certain trigger words that should make you go back and understand what and who the son of perdition is, as well as when it says the abomination of desolation. That is a nation of people that's going forth, destroying everything, destroying the earth, destroying the children of Israel, and like he said, would do anything that he can to keep us in sin. Okay, read on.
Esau has only thrived from wickedness. Esau selling his birthright of God to his brother for some meat only shows his vile nature and hatred towards the Most High. Since he has been in power, his only agenda has been to turn the world away from the Most High and to serve Satan.
Now check that out. What about homosexuality? Okay. Hasn't he pushed that agenda? What about pedophilia? Haven't he pushed that agenda? What about bestiality? Haven't he pushed that agenda? See, all these agendas that he pushed, right? He's being revealed of who he truly is. Because if you really think about it, now, why would you push pedophilia? Why would you have a certain club that, and in your judicial system, why would you even have a law on the books that would try to give them the right to mess with little boys and little girls that's underage? You really got to look at what agenda this man is pushing out here, and recognize who he is. Go ahead.
Book of Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth upon the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Throughout history, and even unto today, it has been the Edomite nation that sits in the temple as God.
So now it says, throughout history, this man has revealed himself, right, who he is and what he's actually accomplished. Go ahead.
The Greeks entered and desecrated the temple of Israel during the time of Antiochus III or the fourth. The Romans entered the temple and destroyed it, and Jerusalem in 70 A.D.
Right there. So it said the Greeks. So this is when he actually came into full power. He's always been around, but to have full power, or start to convince the other nations and start conquering these other nations and start implementing what the Greeks have done throughout history, that's revealing himself. Then it went from the Greeks, then it went down to the Romans. And it just pointed out, the brother was just pointing out what we just read about the temple in 70 AD being destroyed. So here he is as a Roman, revealing himself as well. Go ahead.
In the 8th century BC, a certain sect of Caucasians called the Khazars converted to the customs of the Jews and started calling themselves Jewish.
Right. Now that's another key thing too. That's why it says you should pick up the book. It said the Khazars. So now he just tapped into what Esau who Esau truly is, right? And now it also points out who he's trying to be. He's trying to be the Jews. Go ahead.
The Khazars converted to the customs of the Jews and started calling themselves Jewish and stole the history and legacy of the true Israelites. These all sit in the synagogues of the Jews. According to the scriptures and history, The rest of the Caucasians claim to be the fathers of Christianity through Catholicism, which originally were the laws of Moses gave to the Israelites.
Mhm.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9.
I'm gonna get that real quick. Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9. Just so we can stay on point a little bit. Revelations chapter 2. Okay.
Book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
Right. So now that's being revealed. And that's why he said that but thou art rich. Why? It's because the children of Israel holds the covenant and can never be taken away from us. And no other nation can be added to that as well. So that's how we're rich. We're rich in spirit. We're rich in this covenant that's coming to us. This promise that the Most High has given us. Okay, go ahead.
The Caucasians' agenda to portray themselves as the biblical figures, especially God and Jesus Christ, proves that he is the son of perdition that exalts himself above all that is God and show himself as God.
And he shows himself as God. Once again, his AI. Now he's showing himself as God because he's able to create this form of this, what they call life form, right? Intelligent thinking, which is their AI, which is all of their computers and supercomputers of all of this. Then he comes along, like you said. Then he's come. What's that? Transhumanism. Okay, he's coming out with that. Iroquois brought that up, claiming that how he's going to replace certain body parts and advance the human body. That's playing God, not letting the natural causes of how the Most High has put us, meaning that we're young, we age, and then he calls us. So all of these things he's pointing out. The thing is, we have to keep our lenses open and recognize what this man is doing and how he is doing it and why he's doing it. And that refers us to go right back into these prophecies, into this Bible, to this book, and start to say, okay, this is what this man's agenda is. Okay, now we need to find out what is our agenda to escape this. Because we into it. We all into it. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 years, but everybody, if you take a census, I guarantee you around the room or even just on the street, people are they're not going to say anything positive. Everything is going to be negative in the next 3 years. Everything is going to be negative of what they may think is coming down the pipeline. Okay, so he is revealing himself in many, many ways. Okay, read on.
The Caucasians' agenda to portray themselves as the biblical figures, especially God and Jesus Christ, proves that he is the son of perdition that exalts himself above all that is God and shows himself as God. Knowing full well that they are not the biblical descendants of the Jews, they claim the Israelites' ancestry through lies and deceit. The scriptures state that these Caucasian Jewish impostors of Germany, Russia, Poland, Spain, America, and other areas of the world are the synagogues of Satan. This confirms that they are indeed descendants of the red dragon, Esau or Edom, and they sit in the synagogues of the world portraying themselves as the children of God.
Now, and the thing is, too, when you really start to research, you ain't even got to research. All you got to do is bring it up. Esau knows he's Esau now. White folks know that they Esau. There's plenty of videos where he just exposed himself saying, yeah, we know we're the Edomites, And then he tried to cover up with some kind of joke or something like that. But that's profound. That they know who they are. A lot of them know who they are. And believe me, all the ones that's up in government, they exactly know what their nation of people, who their nation of people is. Period. And they know the prophecy of what's going to happen to them as well. This is why they all on board, full force, and trying to push it as fast as they can, as fast as possible. Because they think that they can deter these prophecies of them being destroyed and us being uplifted and being delivered. All of this is we right in our faces right now, which is a glorious thing. But we have to, like I said, we have to open up our ears, and we have to also as a people, to start taking notes and start to go back over these prophecies and understand these laws and commandments that will actually set us in the right order. Okay, agreed on?
The fact that the Caucasian race could in no way be the descendants of the tribes of Israel.
Now, I like when he said the Caucasian race, because he's talking about Russia, he's talking about Italy, talking about Rome. Yeah, Rome. He's talking about Spain. All the European countries that have these Caucasians in it, all of them are the descendants of Esau. All of them. Now they try to identify themselves as regions and as countries, but they all Esau. And they all at one time, I guarantee you, behind the scenes, they come together and they make an agreement on how this agenda is going to be. Who's going to play the bad guy, Esau? Who's going to play the good guy, Esau? But they're all one nation. And their whole agenda is to destroy, period. Destroy and keep their eye on the children of Israel. That's where their surveillance cameras comes in. They want to know what Israel is doing. As long as we killing ourselves, as long as we out there just wilding out, they good. We prolong their time on this earth. Because as soon as we get ourselves together and start following the commandments of the Most High God, then he knows time is short. Time is short. So he definitely once again, what the brother read earlier, he wants to keep us in sin. Go ahead.
The fact that the Caucasian race could in no way be the descendants of the tribe of Israel is documented in the book entitled The 13th Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
The Khazar Empire and Its Heritage by Arthur Koestler documents that the majority of Caucasians that claim to be Jews are actually descendants of the Khazars.
Now, I've heard Edomite, and his name is Gerald Salente. And he goes off and he started to cuss, but he said the very same words. So they know the Khazars. They know. And I sit back and I wonder, and I'm quite sure it go over a lot of people's head, but those who are in the know, and when that man says that, I don't know why YouTube don't even flag him. They don't even flag him for some reason. But let us say something. Let us say one word out of the algorithms. All of a sudden, we getting notes, we getting tags, we getting warnings. But he calls them out, the Khazars. Okay, read on.
Koestler documents that the majority of Caucasians that claim to be Jews are actually descendants of the Khazars, a Caucasian people that converted to Judaism in the 8th century AD and are not of the lineage of Jacob. The book 13th Tribe, page 17. This was written before the full extent of the Holocaust was known. But that does not alter the fact that the majority of surviving Jews in the world is of the Eastern European, and thus perhaps mainly of Khazar origin. If so, this would mean that their ancestors came not from the Jordan, but from the Volga. Not from Canaan, but from the Caucasus, once believed to be the cradle of the Aryan race. Koestler confirms that the largest group of people claiming to be Jews is of Caucasian descent and are not descendants of Jacob. According to prophecy, these Caucasian Jews are in no wise the descendants of the children of Israel. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9, Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. In the book, Who is Esau/Edom, the author also admits that the Caucasian Jews are the descendants of Esau.
So now there's a book out there that also recognized who and put Esau on front line as well. So all this information is out there. That's why we're seeing the things that we're seeing now, because time is short. He can't hide anymore. But it said the son of perdition has to be revealed. He's already been revealed. Those who, what he said, whosoever read it, let him understand. So once again, right here in Matthew chapter 24, multiple prophecies are being revealed and more to come. Son of perdition has been revealed. Okay, read that one little sentence again, and then go back. Yeah. Let's start here. According to the prophecy.
According to the prophecy, these Caucasian Jews are in no wise the descendants of the children of Israel. In the book, Who is Esau/Edom, the author also admits that the Caucasian Jews are descendants of Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Esau? That's Edom, page 11. The best historical evidence, therefore, shows that the Jews are not descendants directly from the Israelites of the Bible, but derive much of their ancestry from the Khazars and other people of Turkish Asiatic blood.
Mm-hmm.
The Khazars are also of Edomite stock, and both stocks make up the present-day Jews.
Exactly. Because if you can even look at Netanyahu, right? Even though he's from another tribe within Esau, but even he himself is an Edomite, being revealed on who he is. They got the history about him. It's all kinds of information that these high-powered Edomites that's controlling the earth right now, right, has been revealed, has been shown that these people are up to no damn good, period. I think that's all I wanted was 23. No, let's get Second Ezra. Let's get Second Ezra chapter 6. Second Ezra chapter 6, and we're gonna start at verse 6. Verse 6. Because I just want to keep and just bring out certain scriptures as well as certain information just to reveal what Daniel was saying when he says the abomination of desolation, right, being revealed, and how he's being revealed, and who this nation of people is. Okay, and then this is more prophecy to show that we just read about Esau, the Khazars, the Caucasian race. So just keep Edom and Esau in mind, right? Because of what this prophecy right here is going to be revealed. Go ahead, start at 6.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, and verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other.
See, and he said, Most High said it's going to be ended by him and no other. So they can put all the Hollywood movies about being a nuclear war and how things are going to, destroy the whole earth and destroy all the plants and the rivers and the waters. They can do all of that. But the Most High said it ain't going to happen unless I let it happen. Okay, read on.
Verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
Now, all the apostles asked this from the prophets or from an angel. Okay, remember now the disciples asked Christ. Now here in Second Ezra, this is an angel that came down and started revealing things to Ezra. But they always ask, when is the end? When is the end? And we have to pay close attention because he gives those clues of when is the end. So read on.
Verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So now, once again, I say pay close attention to Esau because we just read certain things of where he came from and how he expounded from the Greeks to the Romans up until now today, and what he's doing today on this earth now. Just about all of the Caucasian countries right now. That's the power of Esau, starting from the Greeks. But Ezra is asking this question. So now he said from Abraham to Isaac and to Jacob and Esau, go ahead,
were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world.
Right there. So now we know what times we're living in. And remember, it's not the end of the whole world, meaning the world, the earth is going to explode. No, as we know it. This world as we know it. So the times we're living in now, the things that we're seeing, we're knowing that we're close to the end of this world, Esau's world, his domination, his rulership, what's been given to him, because all nations have had at one time to rule the earth, meaning to be in power. So this is Esau's time to be in power, but his power shall diminish. So start that from the top again.
Verse 9.
Verse 9.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right. So now Jacob, meaning the Israelites, are the beginning of those that follow. But now how are we going to be? We're going to rule with law, statutes, and commandments. We're going to rule with justice. The other nations are going to be put in their place. The other nations are going to be taught by the Israelites to show them how to serve the Most High God who created heaven and earth. They may not like it, and those who don't like it, there's punishments, there's rules to be put forth. So it says that Jacob is the beginning that followed after it, because Esau is the end of the world. Read on.
Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the hill and the hand. Other question Ezra asked thou not.
And he said not. And we can go back and we can find out how that history came about when Esau and Jacob was born. So that way, if they were like, we don't know who came out first. Yeah, it is. They got records of it. They show you exactly. Genesis chapter 25, it tells you. Write down Genesis chapter 25 and verse 23. And write down Genesis chapter 27, verses 36 and 37. It gives you, and it right here, it shows you who came out first and how this birth came about. And the struggle within them. And also was prophesied that two manner of people was in Rebekah's womb. So all of this prophecy that we have to understand and start building on to understand that, yes, this is happening. This is happening. We are in the last days. Because remember, it said that the gospel will have to be preached all over the world. And that's what's happening right now, because we're still preaching, quote unquote, preaching the coming of Christ. We're still preaching that we are the children of Israel. We're still preaching to try to get our people back in the right manner, according to the commandments, so that they will have a chance at everlasting life. All right? So,
That's a question, not a question, but a statement. In 2 Ezra 9 and 13, lets you know that we have to inform us as a people, first and foremost, before the entire, all the world is going to know, but we have to consider ourselves first and foremost, how we're going to be the
come.
people.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
13 to 15.
Yeah, 9 and 15.
Just 13?
Yeah.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 13. And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished.
Right. So now, as the elder had brought out, it's like we have to understand where we fit in this and what we have to do. So it said, don't be curious about the ungodly, how they're going to be punished. Read on.
And when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
Now, I like when he said, and when. Everybody trying to prophesy the end. But what's going to happen towards the end? He said, no, only the Most High knows that. Christ himself didn't know. He even said it. Christ said, I don't know the time. But it's going to happen. Okay. So it says, and when, go ahead.
But inquire how the righteous shall be saved, who the world is, and for whom the world is created.
And whom the world is created. That's our focus. That's what every Israelite that has accepted the Israelites, because a lot of our people not accepting. And if they do accept it, they're not following what the commandments are actually saying. And that's sad. That's really sad, because 2/3 of our people are not going to make it. We don't know who that 2/3 is, but we know it's the ones that are not understanding these commandments, not doing these commandments. They're going to be judged, of course they are, but we are, 1/3 is going to be judged as well. All of us is going to be judged. But that was a really nice precept, because we shouldn't inquire about, Esau and ungodly and how they're going to be punished. Even though I think about it, because like I said, Brother Shar, I forgot that website. That YouTube channel that he put up there. But the brother go back, some gruesome stories. They're not stories, but events that happened to our people during slavery, man. It's just, I bear through it, but it's just profound on how wicked and how devious these people were. How they beat us, raped us. It's heart-wrenching. But once again, they will be judged for their acts, period. Don't know what it is, but I know the Most High got something that we can't even imagine type of pain and anguish that he's going to place them in forever. They're never coming out. Never. Because the scripture said that the seed of Esau is going to perish forever anyway. Now think about that. So, I want to stay in Ezra's, and I want to get that chapter 11, and just Second Ezra, chapter 11, and verse 39.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 11, and verse 39.
Mm-hmm.
Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in the world?
Okay, so now I want to go back to this brother book again. Now I just want to read page 297. 297. We'll read 297. And yeah.
Page 297, chapter 11, prophecy of the four great beasts.
Now, so read Second Ezra again.
Book of Second Ezra, chapter 11, and verse 39. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?
See, that the end of thy time may come through them. We just read in Second Ezra before how Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that comes after. Now we're talking about the four beasts, and he said, art thou the end? He said that the end, that their time might come through them. It might come through them, through the Edomite nation. So now we're just going to read a little bit about these four beasts that the brother have in his book that gives a lot more clarity. Go ahead.
Prophecy of the four great beasts. After giving the interpretation of the image of that Nebuchadnezzar saw in Daniel chapter 2, Daniel was shown other visions from the Most High regarding the four kingdoms that will rule the earth in their chronological order. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 3 through 4. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted from the earth and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and as a man's heart was given to it. The beast that Daniel sees in the vision represents the kingdoms that were seen in Nebuchadnezzar's vision that will rise into power at different points in time. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 17, the first beast, or the first kingdom that Daniel saw that came into rulership was like a lion with eagle's wings. This beast represented the kingdom of ancient Babylon. A lion is known for its wit and brute strength. This symbolizes the strength and wisdom of the Chaldeans of Babylon were known for.
Right, and the Babylon today would be like, I had looked it up in the region of Iraq. That's that region around there where Babylon was actually established at during that time. Go ahead.
The lion also represents the force and strength that Babylon used to take control of the known world. The lion with eagle's wings was a symbol used by Babylon. The wings of the lion also represented the swiftness and how the Babylonians came against and seized Jerusalem. The prophets of Jeremiah and Ezekiel both described the attack of the Babylonians as a lion and an eagle. Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 7, and also verse 13, in the book of Ezekiel chapter 17 and verse 3. The Babylonian Empire was the nation in power at the time David received this vision. Daniel chapter 1 and verse 1, Daniel chapter 2 and verse 38.
Right, so now he's giving these chapters and these verses so that you can go back and read them, right? But he's given also a more clarity for those who don't understand, like the beast, what they call similitudes of what is being told to us throughout the Bible. Okay, go ahead.
Their apex of dominion lasted from about 626 BC to about 539 BC. Book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Mhm.
The second beast that Daniel saw that will have complete dominion on the earth was described as a bear. Just like the image that had a chest and arms of silver in Daniel chapter 2 and verse 32, and Daniel chapter 5 and verse 30 to verse 31, this bear represents the united Persian and Mede Empire. A bear is one of few animals that is large and strong enough to fight against the lion.
Right. So the Persians and the Medes are coming upon the scene, and I had looked that up, and it was like Iran, but Iran within the southern or the southwest area, and the Medes came from the northern west area of Iran. Iran is one country, but it was like divided within the southwest and the northwest. So the Medes came out of the northwest, and the Persians came out of the southwest. Right, that's how the calendar, the map has set things up. So they came together as one nation, right, to defeat the Babylonians. Okay, go ahead.
A bear is one of few animals that is large and strong enough to fight against a lion.
Now the brother's bringing out the four beasts, but he also wanted to bring this out because here in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 15, it was talking about Daniel prophecy, what Daniel saw and what Daniel described to us in his book. So the four beasts are in there as well. Just trying to bring a little bit more clarity for those who may get confused and don't know about the four beasts. Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 13 and verse 8. This is why the bear signifies the power and strength of the Persian and Mede and their ability to overcome and subdue the first lion-like beast, Babylon, the Chaldeans. The scriptures verify that Cyrus and Darius of the Persians and Medes that defeated the Babylonians, book of Daniel chapter 5 and verse 30 through 31, the rulership of the Medo-Persia lasted from 559 BC to 331 BC. The scriptures state that the bear raised itself up on one side. This is because the Persians were greater than the kingdom of the two, was the greater kingdom of the two. The three ribs represented the three countries of Egypt, Babylon, and Lydia, which were the prime nations of the Persian and Medes. Was the prime nations that the Persians and the Medes overthrew to obtain chief dominion and rulership of Babylon. The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 6.
That's good. Yeah. I'm gonna move because I want to go to another page of the book.
Okay. Book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Right. So now that's Alexander when he came upon the scene. So just to give you an idea, when we go back to Matthew, like I said, verse 24 and verse 15, when he's talked about the prophecy that Daniel said. So now I want to stay within the brother book, and let's go to page 463. Up there. Yeah, for the state of California. Something to think about, huh? So like I said, with the brother book, he gives like more clarity, right? And I kind of like the way he presents it because I couldn't present it myself like that. It takes years. Brother's been studying for years, but I like the way he put it down because it brings a lot more clarity. So like I said, I would advise to go purchase the book and actually get into it because these prophecies are what we're experiencing right now. Okay. Speak a little louder.
I said this is Daniel 7. That's on YouTube channel.
Oh. Okay. Right. Brother Icor said also if you look in our archives, we have a lesson on Daniel chapter 7 as well. All right. So we can go start at 463.
Page 463, chapter 14. Prophecies of the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The next clue given in the scriptures of the 4 kingdoms mentioned in the book of Daniel chapter 7 that must rise up into rulership before the kingdom of Christ will come.
So now he's pointing out, brother, in this book, he's pointing out that these prophecies have to come to provision for this prophecy of us, of our deliverance, have to come. All right. So go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go. The kingdoms that Daniel saw that would arise into powers were Babylon, the Persians and Medes, Greece, the beginning of Edom.
See, it says Greece, the beginning of the Edomites. Go ahead.
Edomite Caucasian rulership in the known world. Rome continues Edom rulership.
Right, because we know that from the Romans are nothing but another branch off the Greco-Roman Empire. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Rome continues Edomite rulership. Britain and America are extensions of Rome.
See, Britain and America are extensions of Rome,
which is also Edomite rulership. Kingdom of Christ, the last and final kingdom to rule over the earth. Because it is already proven in an earlier section that Esau is the Caucasian race, we can see that their power started with the Greeks. The prophet Daniel saw that Esau would only get stronger over time as Rome grew into the superpower of its day. Greece was conquered and merged with Rome to form the Greco-Roman Empire. This power increased over the centuries to give birth to the 5 other key European nations: France, Spain, Germany, Russia, and Britain, from which came forth America and the European Economic Community. These nations continue to expand, making Esau the world's most powerful nation on the earth at this time. This means the nation of Esau or Edom will be the kingdom that is in power at the time Christ will come to destroy the nations, and also the last powerful nation to have total rulership before the kingdom of Christ is established.
Right. So now he points out that, read this section right here. These nations continue
to expand, making Esau the world's most powerful nation on the earth at this time.
Right. So isn't that true? That is so true. Because if you even look at the quote unquote what they call South Africans, but it's not South Afrikaners or something like that. But anyway, they went into that region of South Africa and literally took it over. Took over land, took over the minerals of the land. And those people have been there for thousands of years, but Esau's there. Dude is turning like, I don't know, he's not even turning red no more. He's turning like a dark red from all that sun and over there. But he's still there establishing, he's still over there ruling. He's still over there in a system. I can't get it out, you know. And he's calling the shots. Even in South Africa. So what the brother had pointed out right there, yes, they are in ruling, and they do rule the whole world. What they say go. Look at America. And that's one thing that, like, I think it's in the book of Revelations, where the Most High said we shall flee in the land of milk and honey, right? And I often just look at myself and say, man, you know what? Even though the atrocities that we've been in, you know, look how many thousands of people are still trying to get here in America because it's considered the land of milk and honey. But the Most High took care of us. He took care of the Israelites that came here, that's here in America right now, born and raised. He literally took care of us. And then the other scattered, you know, of Israel, he put in different regions of the world. But everybody's trying to come here to this place, America. Not no more, though. You know, not with the agenda that they're putting out today. But if they still have a chance to either come through legally, they will come through and they'll think they hit the lottery. But like you say, hey, Most High said he will always take care of his children, no matter where we are. He will always take care of us. Okay, read on.
These nations continue to expand, making Esau the world's most powerful nation on the earth at this time. This means that the nation of Esau/Edom will be the kingdom that is in power at the time Christ will come to destroy the nation.
See, Esau will be in power. We just read about that when the Hawashai is coming back to destroy the nations. Read on.
And also the last powerful nation to have total rulership before the kingdom of Christ is established.
That's right. So Esau had to be put in power. What we experiencing right now. This is his time. So let's go back to Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to pick it up at 15. I want to pick it up at, because when we go back to Matthew 24, he's going to go through it and just give his disciples, a view on what's going to take place when his temple is being destroyed. And he's saying that, those that are in the mountains flee, meaning that during this time of 70 AD, those that were outside of Jerusalem, he's telling them, don't go back in. Those who can escape and hear the words of these prophecies, get the heck out of there. Because this is what's gonna come down the pipeline during the time of 70 AD. But I'll pick it up at verse 21.
Book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time.
Right. Go ahead.
No, nor ever shall be.
They said, no, nor ever shall be. So let's get that prophecy in Daniel real quick. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. And we're going to start at 1. So it said that at this time, there should be trouble like there never was before. But now, that's the prophecy he gave before 70 AD happened. Now, this is the prophecy that Daniel's given us, right, during our time of what's going to happen when the children of Israel is being delivered.
12:1,
Yeah, 12:1.
Book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people.
So now our people, we got an angel that protects us. We have an angel that's his job. When he's called, he's going to come and protect us and pull us away from all danger. If we find ourselves up against, let's say, Esau and what he's doing now, let's say ICE. Okay, let's say ICE. The Most High has an angel that will protect us from them of any agenda coming forward that Esau here in America is going to place upon the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book.
Written in the book, go ahead.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Right. So we have a protector that's going to protect us. So even though we read this in Matthew chapter 24, verse 21, we're going to go back there, read it again. We have a protector when this time comes. Verse 21 again.
Book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be.
Read on.
And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh. There should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
See, those days shall be shortened. So even now, this prophecy, when we hear about them dropping big bombs and, like you say, countries are being demolished, like the Palestinians, we still know and have faith in our Lord and Savior, because he told us right here that even though he's going to shorten those days before it gets to the point where Esau want to destroy everything. He think he's going to destroy, but Mosiah said, no, I'm going to shorten those days. So that's when he know that his time is being short as well. So that's why he's escalating and pushing things. And he's going to push it even further once he can establish this AI, which he's already done. But me personally, I think I look at the financial situation that's on the earth right now. That's why I kind of focus in on all of the wars and the dropping the bombs. I don't even look at that. I look at more so how he's going to establish this money situation. And once he's finished all of the physical money and start getting everybody just completely on digital, that's when I think things are going to speed up tremendously, because he got us. He got us. No one is accepting, the dollar or accepting even gold and silver at one time. The Most High says it's going to come a time where our gold and silver, we're going to throw it in the streets. Those are bad times. Those are really bad times. Okay? We at 23? Okay, go ahead.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 23. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Right, and that's what we have to be careful of. And it was funny, we making fun of AI the other day, and I think it was Arco or somebody put out one where I was like amazed on how they can do the trickery they're doing with cameras and with AI to make a person seem like they're right in the midst of a group of people when they're actually not. They got like a background image where it's like the person is literally there, and they're not. And they got them looking like they're eating food, but there's a glitch. We seen that glitch, didn't we? When she took the whole bone and put it in her mouth and then came out, we were like, okay, that right there, that ain't true. But if it wasn't for that glitch, it looks real. It really looks real. And that's why Heavenly Father said, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. That's why the time has to be cut short. It really does. But during that time, I just want to go. Okay, actually, I want to go to Hosea. I want to go to Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. And the reason I want to go to Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10, because this is more of that prophecy of us understanding that, who will be called in these last days. Hosea chapter 1 and 10.
The book of Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Okay, remember in 2nd Ezra it said that Esau shall be the end of the world, and what follows after is Jacob. Okay, go ahead.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it is said unto them,
right,
ye are not my people.
So now in this place where we said that we're not they say Jews, because when you say the Israelites, they don't know. So we say Jews, right? What's going to happen?
Ye are not my people. There shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
See, we are the sons of the living God. Exactly. And that's what we are going to proclaim until the coming of Christ. Because remember, he said he's going to make those days short. So whatever prolonged agenda that Esau has, it will not come to fruition at all. At all. But what we know is that now that we are calling ourselves in the land of our captivity, that we are the Israelites, another prophecy that puts more heavy burdens upon Esau. Because there's no turning back. Okay? I got Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 13.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 13.
So now that now that we are being called the children of Israel in the land today, big prophecy. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God.
And that's what we're doing now today as Israelites. Just by us delivering this message to our people. So we're acknowledging these things. Go ahead.
Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree. Mm-hmm. And ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord.
So that's what we did. So we acknowledging, but we also know that he said that we have not obeyed his voice, but now we're obeying his voice. We're trying to come back. We're trying to make amends with our Lord and Savior in this land of the U.S. before these big events start to happen. My last scripture, Luke chapter 10, verse 24. Luke chapter 10 and verse 24. Like I said, Matter of fact, I know we're going to continue to revisit Matthew's chapter 24. I just wanted to pick out certain ones that's within that chapter. But there's a lot more evidence there that prove that we're in these last days. And that can prove that the children of Israel have waken up. We've waken up to our identity. And that we are coming back to serve our Lord in righteousness. In righteousness. Okay. Luke 10 and just when it gets 24.
Book of St. Luke, chapter 10, verse 24. For I tell you that many prophets,
23.
verse 23, and he turned him into his disciples and said privately.
Right. So now pick up that word privately. So now we read in Matthew, they set him aside privately, and they wanted to know what that prophecy was going to be, and he revealed it to them, and he kept revealing more things that happened in the past as well as the future. So now Christ has said that he turned to his disciples privately. Go ahead.
And said privately, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see.
Exactly. So we're being blessed right now. Even though Jacob troubles is on his way, but we're still being blessed because we foreseeing these things happen. We foreseeing Esau, and this is the thing. We right here in the belly of the beast, right? So all the other nations, they're feeling the wrath of Esau. But we've just barely hit the tip of the nail here in America. He does his things. He's ICE, and he's pulling brothers over with they laws that they consider locking brothers up, and all of this. Their law here in America. That's what I'm trying to say. But we have not really felt the wrath of Esau, right? Or how he's going to put the smash down of us here in the belly of the beast. But we also, like I said, have this to look forward to because our eyes are seeing this. So we're being blessed. So it says, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see. Go ahead.
For I tell you that many prophets and kings
right there. So many prophets and kings. Many prophets and kings. So we understand Daniel, right? We understand Revelations and what reveals out of Revelations. We understand where this nation of Esau stands in the future and how he came into power and what was given to him to flex his power over all of the nations as well as the children of Israel. We see all of these things. Start from the top again, 24.
Verse 24. For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see.
See, they desire to see these things. And we're walking through them right now. So let's not take advantage of these events that's happening right now. Brother Icor put out, I'm going to go back and actually look at the video because there's certain little tidbits I want to write down in my notes that I want to research. Because he brought out a lot of things that Esau is implementing as far as what they're doing with ICE right now to the next level of where they're going. Or actually the next level of where America is going for their citizens. So we seeing these things and we visualizing these things, so let's not take these things for granted. It's not like just have, one day is here and then the next day is gone. No, we got to concentrate even more, especially if the information is being given to us. Okay, read on.
For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them.
Mm-hmm. And have not heard them. So that right there, and this is in red. So Christ is letting you know, take heed. Let's not just walk through this thing, right, with the information that's being, we ain't got to research it. All we got to do is go back and look over the video. Usually you have to read, papers and magazines and try to write down. This now is given to us in video. But we can sit there and listen and just write and take notes. So that's what we have to do, Israel. We can't ignore all of this information that the Heavenly Father has given us. Once again, the Brother Rahim's book, a mind well instructed, as well to give even further understanding. If you don't quite understand, what's being said here in the Bible, the brother, Most High blessed the brother to put it in, simplicity for us to read and to understand. So we're living in some harsh times, Israel, but we're able to see these things. That's why he said, blessed is he who see these things. Okay, all right, cool. Oh, he did? Okay, thank you, Ashar. All praises, all right? But like I said, be prepared, man, because, man, it's rough. It's rough to go through some of those videos that the brothers putting out, man, and this the atrocities that how they, really abused our people. I mean, severely, man. It's hard to watch, but it's out there. Once again, Rasha.
Yeah, this was scripture to close out possibly Jeremiah 30 and verse 7.
Jeremiah 30 and verse 7.
Since we're going over the tribulation and perilous times that we're living, and we actually are in a great trouble as we speak. But as he said, the righteous and those whose names are written in the book are going to be delivered out of it. So,
Gotcha. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and verse 7. Alas, for that great day, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
So it said, even if it's time of Jacob's trouble. And once again, 2/3 of our people have got to be put to death. As we as the sand of the sea, I mean, that's a lot of people and a lot of blood. So if you find yourself standing after you've seen all that has taken place and 2/3 of Israel being put to death and you still standing, I mean, that's going to be a serious, I can't even put words to it, wake-up call. Go ahead.
It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
See, but we shall be saved out of it.
the 1/3.
That's right. The 1/3, as the elder put it, the 1/3 shall be saved. That's why we have to start working on it now. But we, like I said, we halfway there. Once we came into the understanding of our nationality, that's when our journey started to be part of that 1/3. Understanding his commandments and doing them, now we got a edge up than the 2/3. But it's still a battle. Because this Jacob's trouble, all of us are going to feel the wrath of that. All of us. Just like all of us when we got on slave ships. A lot of us was righteous people, but the unrighteous and the righteous of Israel still got on them slave ships based upon the prophecy that the Most High said will happen to his children. Okay, we have to keep that in mind. Jacob's trouble, right there, it's going to be one to be recognized and one to deal with. So with that, Israel, I say shalom and blessed Sabbath to everybody online. I'm going to close. So y'all dealt with the heat, huh? It cools down about close to 7 o'clock.
The heat wave really is coming this week.
It is.
Hey, it's already been talked about.
That's Esau's disobjection, man.
Yeah.
What's a little shade?
Prepare ourselves for it. He gives all his information.
Our heat wave always comes in July through up until late September,
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
October.
He got
It's all turned out.
Hey, man.